Okay, Greg, nice to meet you.
We're on air. Not that you told him to.
Okay.
A while ago.
Right, so we.
It's your call.
Everyone all set? Set? Good evening, and I welcome everyone to the February 18th, 2026 Town of Londonderry Zoning Board of Adjustment. Before we begin this evening, I would like to read the proceedings and how we proceed, our meeting procedures. First, the clerk will read the case into the record. The applicant will make their presentation. We ask that you come up to the podium here, state your name and address for the record. The board will address the applicant if we have any questions or comments. Those that are in favor of the request are given the opportunity to address the board. The opposed or having questions regarding the request are given the opportunity also to address the board. The applicant will be given the opportunity to rebut any opposition, and the opposition is given the opportunity for any rebuttal. Those of you that would like to speak, either in favor or against any of the cases tonight, we ask that you come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Once this is all done, the board will address the applicant with any additional comments or questions that we may have, and at which time, if there are none, the public hearing portion of the case will be closed, at which time the board will enter into deliberations and vote on the request or continue the case to a future date. We ask that when you approach and you wish to speak, that you use the microphone provided, and please state your name and address for the record. We ask that all conversations be directed through the board. Any of you that would like to speak, you're not gonna be going back and forth with the applicant. You speak directly to the board will address the applicant, so we have one voice during the meeting. We ask that you please turn off your cell phones, or at least put them on vibrate during the meeting. You may stay for the deliberations, or you may go to the town hall within 48 hours following the meeting for the decision, if you so choose. And before we start tonight's agenda, I'd like to have everyone introduce themselves. Nick, would you start us off?
I'm Nick Codner, Building Inspector and Zoning Administrator.
Kristen Farr, Town Planner.
I'm Gregory Carson, a member of the board, full member.
Full member. Jackie Bernard, full member.
Suzanne Burnell, full member.
Andrea Hanson, alternate. Okay, so this evening, we do not have a full board. A full board is 5 members. Andrea, we're gonna vote you in, not as an alternate, but as a full voting member this evening. Any of you that would like to have your case continued to the following meeting. Kristen, our next meeting date is?
I think it's the 18th.
Okay.
I can check.
So in order to have a quorum, you must have 3 votes in favor of what it is you're requesting this evening in order for it to pass. So it is, when your case is heard, when your case is called, you may at that time let us know if you'd like to wait till next meeting for next month, when we possibly will have a full board of 5 members. So then you'd have 5 voting members. I just want to remind everybody, this is a board that we're all volunteers. So I cannot tell you how many will be here for the following month. So having said that, first order of business is to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. Do I have a motion for that?
I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the January 21, 2026 meeting.
Do I have a second?
I will second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and I was not here, so I need to abstain. So minutes for January 21, 2026 are approved.
Just for the record, we are still waiting to approve the December 17, 2025 minutes.
Okay. Do we have any report by the town council liaison this evening? All right, let the record show we have none. Kristen, regional impact determinations for this evening?
None this evening.
I'd like to have a motion to accept no impact, regional impact for this evening's cases.
Move that there are no regional impact determinations for this evening's cases.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. We are now going to enter into the public hearing of cases.
Madam Chair, I'm going to recuse myself from the first two matters.
Thank you. Suzanne is going to now recuse herself. So we now have three members. You must, this first case, you must have 3 votes in favor of what it is you're asking for in order for it to pass. So the first case, would you like to read it into the record?
Sure. Case number 12-17-2025-2, request for a variance from the Londonderry zoning ordinance, section 4.6.6.5 of the Route 102 Performance Overlay District to allow the use of property for construction of 3 single-family residences. The parcel is located at 296 Nashville Road in the Commercial 2 C2 zoning district, tax map 002, lot 25-0, Vigen Properties, Family Properties LLC owner, Leonard Vigen applicant.
And are the applicants here this evening?
Just tell me which ones you want on the,
Andrea, have you ever done the notes before?
I can do, would you like me to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're okay with that?
Yeah.
Great.
I'll bring the next one, I'll bring the other two cases.
Do you notice on the computer it's out of order?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Are you, on the computer, it's out of order for our cases? Yeah, okay. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Morgan Hollis. I'm an attorney with Gottesman and Hollis at 39 East Pearl Street, Nashua, New Hampshire. I'm here this evening representing the owner and the applicant for this particular application, Vigen Farm Properties, Family Properties. The property itself for the first application is the same as the second application.
And are you okay with only having 3 members this evening?
Yeah, we've been here several times and continued, but without less number than
Okay,
we need, and we're just going to proceed forward.
okay.
Thank you, though. So the property has been identified as Lot 25, Map 2, and up on the screen, encircled by what I would call aquamarine or turquoise colored is the lot itself. The property is zoned in C2 zone, and it is in the Performance Overlay Route 102 corridor. It's approximately 15.07 acres. There are 623.34 feet of frontage on Route 102, and there's 173 feet of frontage for the entryway. The property that we're speaking about on the plan also has both green, what I would call lime green markings, and red markings. And the lime green markings are for the wetlands as shown and mapped, and the red shows the area of the property which is available for development. And we're handing out 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper that are the same as the map up top on the screen.
Label this Exhibit A.
So on this plan, what's of particular importance, and we'll hear reference to it, is the area of the wetland and the area of the marked red area, which is going to be identified as developable area. And so the developable area is where the proposed use for this application is proposed to be located. We were last here. This property, by the way, is a bit unusual in that you can see by looking at the plan that it's a large piece of property, but a great deal of the acreage is taken up by wetlands, a power line which is shown on the property, and setbacks to those wetlands. Those wetlands are particularly unusual wetlands in the town's ordinance in that they have a greater setback than any other wetlands. These are the so-called lithium spring wetlands. Of somewhat historical nature in this town. They used to have lithium spring water, and that area, because of the nature of the wetlands, has a larger setback than most. The setbacks are marked on the plan. You can't build in the setbacks. In addition to the setbacks, building setbacks, this property, because it is in the Performance Overlay District, is subject to restriction of both use restriction and encroachment in another buffer, which is the buffer to the adjacent property, which is a Hickory Woods condominium development. And that buffer is 75 feet in width from the property line. And that buffer exists and is a regulation regardless of the use on the commercial property. You still are not allowed to encroach in that buffer. The difference between a wetland buffer and the 75-foot buffer is that you may not have any use within the 75-foot, and you may not cut trees or install anything within the 75-foot buffer if it is adjacent to a residential use, as it is here. And you'll hear reference to, in my second argument, and a little bit in the first argument here on the first variance, to where the entry to this red box has to come, and that's the second variance request. If you look at the top of the screen, the only place to enter this property is along the very narrow area, which is, according to that map, southerly of the wetland and northerly of the property line. And all of that access area is within the 75-foot buffer. So you have the frontage, but you don't have access. You can't get access over the wetland areas, which are the portion at the lower part of the screen, and you can't get access over the wetland area, which is just above the single-family house lot, which is not owned by my client. The only access that you have would be along the boundary line, which is closest to the Hickory Woods condominium. And all of that is within the 75-foot. So we're proposing two variance requests this evening. One is for the use of the property, which we think is a reasonable use of the property, and the other is for allowing access and use within the 75-foot buffer area. So having introduced it by the plan, I would, what's your second plan? like to move to the second plan, if you can call that up, Kristen. This plan is going to reflect what the proposal is. We're asking
Mark that Exhibit B.
We're asking for 3 single-family homes to be built on this lot. You can see they fit within the red development zone. However, they are not a permitted use under the Performance Overlay District, so we would need a variance to allow this use. You can see where the approximate footprints are located. They can all fit in there. You can also see the driveway to gain access to them coming off Route 102, which again is the second variance because all of the driveway access is located within the 75-foot buffer. The third plan is a more detailed close-up of what we're proposing, and you can once again see the 3 single-family homes on a single lot and how they would fit in and where they would be. I would also call out that all of the homes, all of the structures are outside of the 75-foot boundary. Again, this is more for the second variance request, but I want to introduce the entire project up front so the zoning board has a idea of what the property is like and what we're looking at. All of the driveway is within that 75-foot, but none of the structures as proposed for this use will be located within that buffer.
May I ask what the orange rectangle boxes are, the 3 of them?
Those are proposed leach field areas. We had to make sure we could fit them in.
Okay, thank you. And you can mark that Exhibit C.
And then, next exhibit would be the pictures, I think. And with the chair's permission, we're going to call it up on screen, but we have handouts with the pictures so you can label them and keep them in the record that way.
Okay. Keep going up on the alphabet.
So this would be Exhibit D, but we've labeled them, numbered them at the bottom right-hand corner, Dan.
Yep.
So pages 1. Yeah, and these are just going to give you, I know you're familiar with your area, but you're probably not as familiar as some of these pictures will show. So directly, number 1, which Exhibit D1, is a picture directly across the street from the property. This is commercially zoned C2 Performance Overlay District, and this is the use of the property at this time of the year. It is a flea market, so it's busy in the summer, but not in the winter. Number 2, if you flip to number 2, is a picture of the road across the street, which shows the general neighborhood. This particular property is also in the C2 Performance Overlay, and it is a residential property. And you can see, looking beyond it, there are more residential uses. Number 3 is a very relevant picture in that it shows exactly a pretty good focus on what we're applying for. The road at the lower end of the picture is the entryway to Hickory Woods. Once you get into Hickory Woods, you see there's the community center, and there are several homes located up against the tree line there. And then you see, as you're headed to the right-hand side of the picture, there's a extended tree line running perpendicular to Route 102. That is the boundary line of the Hickory Woods, my client's property, which was on the earlier plan shown at the top of the page. You can see the single-family home. As you look away to the right-hand side, you can also see the massive power line that's there and the wetlands that exist. The only property that is of commercial use, which abuts my client's property, is actually the vacant lot, so it's not commercial use. And that is the one with the trees right dead center of the picture on the way into Hickory Woods on the right-hand side. That is commercially zoned, and it is C2 with a Performance Overlay District, and there is no use of that property at this time. If you turn to the next page, which is labeled 4, Exhibit D4, just a different angle, as you're looking sort of down on the same community center, parking areas, the parking lot. Activities are located behind the community center, recreational activities of courts and ball areas. And then you see the 4 homes. You also see my client's property on the tree line, and you see the single-family house abutting my client's property. And again, across the street is what is zoned commercial, and the use of that is the summertime flea market. Turning to page 5, it's the same picture, different angle, repetitive somewhat. Page 6 is a closer-up view showing the proximity of the homes to the area of the proposed driveway, which we'll talk about later. And then number 7 is again that single family across the street on the road that heads more easterly away from the flea market. And then I think number 8 is an overall view again of the flea market and its dormancy during the winter, my client's property, and the entryway to Hickory Woods. Page 9 is the similar kind of picture, but it from a different view, and I think it gives you the best angle of my client's property where the proposed use would be and where the existing single-family home is right off of 102 and where the Hickory Woods condominium structures are in comparison to the boundary line of the properties. And number 10 is a differing view, again, just for clarity purposes, showing the single-family home and the area where we're proposing the 3 single-family homes and what would be closest to them for our abutting property uses. Number 11 is the same, but it really just shows Hickory Woods development. And number 12, similar angle, but from farther back in the wetlands area, reflecting, again, the property that would be developed as shown on exhibits B and C presented before. And the last one, exhibit 13, is strictly my client's property with the single-family home that exists already, the cutout of the property. I think it's important to understand that the single-family home was subdivided from this lot in 1986, not by my client, completely separately. So there was some mention at a prior meeting when the duplexes were proposed that it's a self-created hardship, but that's incorrect. It's not self-created. This was subdivided by someone other than my client, and it was subdivided long before this zoning of C2 and Performance Overlay District was created. So we're stuck with the lot as it exists. There's a house there as it exists, single-family house lot. What happened after my client bought the property was the zoning came in, and there was a restriction in the zoning imposed that if you're in the Performance Overlay District, no matter what use you propose, if you're adjacent to an AR-zoned property, you must have a 75-foot setback. And that proposal came in when Hickory Woods was proposed for development, and the zoning changed from commercial to AR. So none of this is self-imposed. My client has owned the property. All of the zoning took place after the ownership. So that's the background. As I said, we were here back in September. We asked for a variance to allow 6 duplexes in the same area, and that variance was denied. My client then regrouped and met with its engineer, who is here this evening. By the way, my client, the 2 principals of my client, Jane Vigent and Leonard Vigent, are here this evening. But also with me is Dan Borowski of Fieldstone, who prepared all the engineering plans, and he can answer questions. I'll make some offers of proof of what he's going to say, so he doesn't have to testify, but if you have questions, you can ask. Anyway, my client, after that meeting where it was denied, regrouped and spent several months coming up with what can we do out there. We looked at all of the permitted uses that are allowed under the POD under section 2.6.1 parentheses, 0.5 parentheses C, and I'm going to read them into the record. C says the following uses are permitted within the Performance Overlay District: business center development, professional offices, including but not limited to dentists, doctors, lawyers, architects, restaurants, cafes, similar establishments with no drive-through windows, retail stores or shops including clothing, appliance, hardware, and department stores, computer services, religious institutions, places of worship and related facilities, educational institutions, recreation areas, and elderly housing and assisted living facilities as outlined in sections 3.6 and 3.7. So a hard look was made with all of these potential uses, and if you would be able to flip back to Exhibit C, yeah, I think C would be, maybe Exhibit A would be the best, right at the beginning. So if you look at what is the developable area, that is in pink. And that area, I'm not sure, it's 2/3 of an acre. You can see that it is fairly distant from Route 102. It is hidden by the single-family house in the front and the use of that property. The topography is down from the road and back. It's not particularly visible. So we were looking at the size of the developable area, the access to it, and the visibility, because the purpose of the overlay district is quite clear in that it's protecting it for commercial uses along that Route 102, intense commercial uses. So in looking at a business center development, it's not sufficient land area to create a business center development. Don't forget, you always have to have not only a footprint of a building, but you must have stormwater drainage area, septic area, because it's not serviced by municipal sewerage, and you have to have setbacks and buffers. There's no visibility for a business center development. No one's going to want to locate a business center that nobody can see. Professional offices, again, no visibility, and even if it has sufficient area to have a small professional office, such as a single-family home size, you have a very long driveway. What did we determine the distance was? 650 feet back from the road. You have to build a driveway entrance, and people have to be able to find this professional office. Restaurants, insufficient area, insufficient visibility. Retail stores or shops, including clothing, appliance, hardware, and department stores. Insufficient area, insufficient visibility. Computer services. You could have a small computer shop, but you're talking about building a 600-foot driveway to probably town standards to be able to get in there and make use of a very small use. It's economically unfeasible. Religious institutions, places of worship, insufficient area for all the parking that would be required, stormwater and the drainage and the sewerage. Educational institutions, the same. Recreation areas, insufficient area. Insufficient area for parking once you set up any kind of a recreational facility. Elderly housing, assisted living facilities, insufficient area for what's required to be put into these facilities and their accompanying accessory uses. So that left us with what? No permitted uses. The final decision was, well, what would be the most reasonable and less impactful of all uses that one could put on this property to the neighboring uses? What are the immediate neighboring uses? You have single-family homes in the Hickory Woods condominium. You have a single-family home immediately in front. You have to the sort of the bottom of this picture, if you will, headed in a generally northeasterly direction, you have further single-family homes. Southerly across Route 102, you do have a commercial use, but it's not a commercial use in the standard fare, and it's not right along the frontage, but they have enormous frontage right along 102, which there's always the hope that there'll be some major commercial activity. But this is buffered by that single-family residential use. So what's the least impactful use that could be had if you can't put in a permitted use? And that least impactful we arrived at was 3 single-family homes. That's what fits in there. And that's the proposed use we're asking for this evening. As I say, the first request is for 3 lots for single-family use. The second variance request is for activity within the 75-foot buffer consisting of an entry driveway and consisting of the private driveways and to the homes and a septic, which would be an underground septic. With that introduction, Madam Chair, I'm going to launch into the 5 criteria that I think we can satisfy. The first criteria is the proposed use may not be contrary to the public interest. And the legal criteria is that the board must find that the use will not unduly and in a marked degree conflict with the ordinance in such a way as to violate the basic zoning objectives. A lot of boards get confused that the board has to focus on this particular ordinance from which you're asking for relief. But number one criteria, that is not contrary to public interest, is the overall zoning objectives of a town. And what are the basic zoning objectives for a zoning ordinance? To protect values and preserve competing uses next to each other without causing harm to each other. So you want to prevent competing uses, you want to protect existing uses, and you want to protect values. The Supreme Court of New Hampshire has stated that one way to determine this is, will the proposed use alter the essential character of the neighborhood? Will the proposed use threaten the public health, safety, or welfare? And in this case, I've described what the immediate neighborhood is. I've described the character. You've seen pictures of the character of the neighborhood. You've seen pictures of this property and where the proposed development would occur. Is well set back from the road. And our argument is, based upon the evidence before you, that it will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood. Residential, directly abutting and just to the north. Residential, just to the west, and residential abutting directly to the south. Those are the immediate the character of the immediate neighborhood, and the essential character, despite its zone as commercial, is in fact residential. The second criteria in not being contrary to the public interest is you may not threaten the health, safety, or welfare of the public. As I say, allowing 3 single-family homes in this area, there's capacity to put sewer and water on the property, and there's ability to develop it in a less dense setting than the way the Hickory Woods condominium is developed in terms of density per acre, and in a setting very similar to the home to the south on Route 102. So these properties, with all of that open space, will appear as if they're in a rural, zoned, and developed area. We think that there's no threat for traffic coming out of this road. We have a driveway permit issued by the state of New Hampshire to allow the driveway to be constructed, were this board to allow a driveway in. And they've determined that there is adequate safe distance for visibility. They've determined that there's adequate approach distance and that the capacity of the road is such that there is no need to make improvements for the driveway. The proposal is for 3 single-family homes. On typical average, single-family homes under the Institute of Traffic Engineers have approximately 10 trips a day going to and from the house. They don't all go at one time. Some go in the morning and come back in the evening. That's typical. But oftentimes, over a period of a day, the 10 spread out. So even in the peak time, if they were all leaving at once and you had 2 cars per house, you've got a total of 6 leaving and 6 coming home at night. Not a significant traffic impact, not a threat to public safety in any means. It has the same sight distance as the Hickory Woods condominium driveway, which clearly has a great deal more houses coming and going. We've reviewed the accident records, nothing of significance at that driveway.
Now, I have to stop you before you go to number 3. So what you presented, we have your criteria in a letter form. I request that you follow that letter. That has to be read into the record for everyone here, and you're deviating from what's written. So I would like that you actually read exactly what you submitted, and then you can go beyond it, but you have to read what's been submitted, okay?
Is that in the rules that were-
Yeah, what's presented to us is
Yeah,
not
you-
being read to the.
No,
to
you have the
Yeah.
application,
Yeah.
but that's in the record.
Can they just submit this as a additional exhibit?
Unless they don't have it, yeah.
Do you have a copy of the
Do you have a copy of what was submitted?
variance?
Do I have a copy? Sure.
Yeah.
Fieldstone?
Sure, I have
From
a copy.
Fieldstone?
Yeah, I have a copy of it.
Okay, because I can follow you, but what is submitted to us, I just ask that you follow our format, because in respect for everybody that's here, especially for this case, we need to all be on the same page.
I'm happy to comply. I didn't see it in the rules that we had to read this into the record, but I'm happy
Well,
to do so.
it's a different presentation. The rules state that you have to.
It's a supplement to what's been applied.
Correct, so you gotta at least read into the record what you submitted, and you can put some supplementation in there, that's great. You can just read number one, read number two, because you've
Sure.
already done a lot into that. I just wanna make sure that we, from this point forward, that we follow the rules.
Granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest because the Supreme Court has held that a variance is contrary to the public interest when it threatens public health, safety, or welfare. We believe granting this variance, this use variance will not threaten these, nor will it otherwise injure public rights. The property has adequate lot areas to support 3 single-family homes and their septic and well requirements. Public water is also available. Allowing 3 single-family homes on Lot 2-25 will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood. The subject parcel abuts the densely developed Hickory Woods condominium development of single-family homes and a single-family home. While there is a commercial use across Route 102, the proposed homes are not visually connected, or otherwise nearby. We believe granting this variance would not be contrary to the public interest. Number 2, the spirit of the ordinance is observed because the spirit of the ordinance is tied to criteria 1, as it is in the public's interest to uphold the spirit of the ordinance. The general intent of the zoning ordinance is to protect values by clustering like-kind uses. The intent of prohibiting most residential uses in the performance overlay district is because the uses that are allowed in this district would be largely in conflict with and somewhat noxious to single-family residences. The current abutters to the property, and certainly to the developable portion of the property, are single-family residences. Additionally, large wetland areas buffer the site of the proposed houses from any abutting or nearby commercial use. We believe keeping a congruous use with the abutting properties is the best development for this property and observes the intent of allowing limited uses compatible in the performance overlay district. Since this proposal will help achieve the above goal without negative impacts to the town, we believe it follows the spirit of the ordinance. So now on to number 3.
Thank you.
Granting the variance would do substantial justice because granting this variance would allow for the productive use of the property, which, by buffer restrictions, has limited potential for permitted uses. Granting this variance would do substantial justice because it would provide reasonable use without negative impacts to the town or other private property owners. Other allowed uses of this property are largely commercial. The unique feature of the lot, the abundance of wetlands, and the proximity of the AR-1 zone preclude this lot from reasonable commercial use. A denial of this variance request would result in no apparent gain to the general public in that the desired goals of the underlying zoning district and the overlay district, preserving commercial land uses, cannot be achieved and would in fact be harmful to the abutting properties. However, the property owner would be harmed as the use of this property would be constrained to financially unviable development options. We believe the current proposal is a reasonable use of the land and with no harm to the public, substantial justice will be done. I believe I need to embellish that at all. I think that's our argument. You have to do the balancing, and you have to determine if there's any harm to the public if this were granted. And our bottom line is there would be no harm to the public because the public is trying to zone this commercial, but it's just an unusual piece of land. Commercial is a terrible use. Granting the variance would not diminish the values of surrounding properties because the proposed development will not detract from the existing residential uses of abutting properties. New construction and development of similar uses will increase the value of surrounding properties. An analysis of the impact on the surrounding property values has been conducted by a real estate appraiser. For a more intense development than what is proposed, we expect this project to have positive impacts on surrounding property values. You have I believe in your packet, an additional letter that was prepared by Chet Rogers. That's part of the public submission. And I don't know if you want me to read that into the record, Madam Chair, or you want to read it in.
We'll
but-
be reading that into the record. We
Okay,
have that
that's-
letter in our.
That's the one dated December 16th on the heading of Chet Rogers.
You do
And
have
I
the
will
letter.
just briefly summarize his conclusion so that everybody doesn't fall asleep while it's being read. I opine that allowing this buffer, this is the buffer impact one. I opine that allowing this lot for single-family use where water is available and septic systems are possible and where there are residential uses adjacent to the subject property and a substantial tree-line buffer on the west side does not alter the character of the neighborhood and will not detract from the aesthetics of the area. No abutters will notice any difference. Additionally, it is noted that the allowed commercial uses for this site would be more intense and less harmonious uses not in character with the neighborhood. In my opinion, granting the variance to allow residential development consisting of up to 3 single-family homes in the commercial C2 zone and Route 102 corridor performance overlay district where such use is not permitted will not adversely affect the real estate values of the abutters or the neighborhood in general. Number 4, unnecessary hardship. Owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, explain how no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property. The Commercial 2 District and Route 102 Corridor Performance Overlay District are established in the ordinance to encourage the development of business areas designed to serve the motoring public. That's in your purposes of the zoning ordinance. Because of its unique characteristics, Lot 2-25 is not well suited to meet this goal. The property has very limited frontage on Route 102, and the developable portion is hardly visible. In addition, the buffers required due to the adjacent condominium and the wetlands are unique to this property. Commercial or business development on this lot is not feasible considering the site constraints. There is no fair or substantial relationship between the purpose of the zoning district and the enforcement of the restrictions as to use on this particular property. While it is a large 15-acre lot, much of that land is encumbered by a power line easement or by wetlands and wetland buffers. Commercial developments often require more space and are less suited to be placed near environmentally sensitive areas than residential developments are. Commercial developments often need to account for parking, employee and customer traffic, and large deliveries which are typically not factors in a residential site. This particular parcel is abutted by single-family residential use to the west, the Londonderry Flea Market to the south, and mainly wetlands to the east and north, making any commercial development on this property a potentially noxious use to the existing neighbors. Alternatively, providing the types of multifamily housing allowed by the ordinance would be out of character for the neighborhood. The proposed development, however, offers a solution that is harmonious with the surrounding uses and does not unreasonably frustrate the zoning ordinance. Based upon the above, we do not believe that a fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property. B, the proposed use is reasonable one because we believe that the proposed development of 3 single-family homes is reasonable. The proposed single-family use is the same use that is found directly abutting the proposed development. The immediate neighborhood of this property is comprised of all single-family residential dwellings. Because of the unique features of the property, the existing abutting uses, the large area of prime wetlands on the site, the proximity to the AR1 zone, and the limited allowed uses in the Performance Overlay District, we believe granting this use variance is reasonable. The option B on hardship is, owing to the following special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, explain how the property cannot be reasonably used in strict conformance with the ordinance, and a variance is therefore necessary to allow a reasonable use of the property. There are several factors that make this property unique. It abuts a large single-family residential development and residential zoning district. It contains large prime wetland areas and a large easement, all of which preclude it from easily being developed in accordance with the ordinance and restricts any development on the site to be situated near the western lot line abutting single-family residence, yet is located on a main traffic corridor where commercial growth and development are anticipated. Without the variance, the lot will have no reasonable use. By area, it is much larger than the required size for the C2 zone. However, the natural constraints of the site, particularly the wetland areas, power line easement, and performance overlay district buffer, impede it from being conventionally developed, so a variance is therefore necessary. And the only additional argument I would make to argument on criteria number 5 is, again, I would point out that in the prior argument for a variance to allow duplexes, there were some members of the board that raised the issue of self-imposed hardship, and I believe that there was a mistaken misunderstanding that this property had all been owned as a single lot, and then the front lot was subdivided off by the applicant. And I've put in the record the history, which was, it was purchased, it was subdivided in 1988 by Vince Dooley, who owned the property at the time. The two zoning criteria, two zoning classifications did not exist. It was then purchased as two separate lots by two separate entities in 2003, and the front house was sold off at a subsequent date in 2017. So this property has been owned as a separate lot, not created by the owner, since 2003. All of this was under ownership of my client prior to the enactment of the Performance Overlay District, which limits the use of the property. I think that's an important element to consider, as I pointed out in the application. In addition, you have to consider the unique features of the property, which is 600 feet distance before you can even develop it, a very narrow entryway to get there, and adjacent to very environmentally sensitive properties. So that concludes the 5 criteria argument for the first application, and I don't know, Madam Chair, if you want me to launch into the second at the same time?
Nope, we are going to take it one at a time.
Okay.
Okay, first and foremost, do we have any questions from any board members?
I have several.
Okay, go ahead.
Just a question, I did hear you mention, Morgan, nice to see you again, it's been about 20 years since I sat on this side of the table, you sat on that side, 25 maybe. How many acres is the entire developable area for the 3 homes?
Yeah, I'm sorry, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Dan Borowski with Fieldstone Land Consultants. The entire developable area, that pink area that's highlighted, is 0.66 acres. It's just under 30,000 square feet. It's 28,950, if my reading is correct.
And you're gonna be able to get 3 single-family homes in there without additional variances for setbacks between buildings?
Not for variances between setbacks between buildings, but we will need, the buffer impact to get
I mean
access
individually
to
in between,
Oh,
just the inside
correct.
the pink area or the red area?
Inside the
But
pink area,
yeah,
yes.
so,
Yeah.
so,
Probably
okay.
be a condominium form of ownership.
And is the lot already have an approved curb cut from the state?
It does.
It does, okay. Terrific, okay. And because I don't have a copy of the piece about the appraisal here in front of me, does the appraisal suggest that there is no impact? Is there a positive impact to surrounding properties? Did it look at, any indication on whether it's just neutral or a positive effect? Or?
What I read into the record was that there is no opinion on the opinion is granting the variance requested to allow residential development consisting of up to 3 single-family homes in the commercial C2 zone and Route 102 corridor performance overlay district where such use is not permitted will not adversely affect the real estate values of the abutters or neighborhood in general. He does opine earlier that, in his opinion, it will not alter the character and will not detract from the aesthetics of the area.
Okay. Let's see. Actually, I think that's all ahead.
Okay. Andrew, do you have any questions?
Greg asked the question I was gonna ask about the 3 houses
I'm sorry.
on the .66. So you are gonna put the three, you said condo type houses, or they're gonna be a separate separate condos, correct?
Yes.
Um,
They would be
it's on this-
detached units, single-family detached homes.
On the last one, it looks very close to the wetlands. Is there any issues with that one?
It would have to be constructed so that it doesn't encroach.
Right, okay.
These are, again, footprints. In your town, like most towns, you can't put a foundation in without having a measurement. It'll have to be staked out. There are going to be hawk eyes on, you're close to a buffer, so we're aware of that. We just showed that it can fit.
Okay, thank you.
All right, for the record, when did you purchase your property? When was this property purchased by the owner?
I'm sorry?
When was this property purchased by the owner?
2003.
When was the overlay? What year was that done?
I don't know when they put that in.
Okay, you don't know?
Actually, I was just reading it, so I can tell you in a second.
You testified it was subdivided in 1986, the first time?
That is,
Because that's what I had written down.
yes.
I just want to make sure.
Let me pull up the subdivision plan.
It's part of zoning revisions in 2004, ordinance 01-11.
2004? Okay.
Yeah, I have a deed here. My client's 2003.
Okay, thank you.
And the reference, the plan that's referenced is a subdivision plan 15775, and it was prepared in 1986.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, I'd like to take it out to the audience. Anyone in favor of the applicant that would like to speak? All right, let the record show that there is no one. Is there anyone in opposition that would like to speak? Okay, so come up one at a time. State your name and address for the record with any questions or comments in opposition.
I have a question.
You have to go to the mic because our recording won't pick up your voice.
Paul Ramsey, 24 Pepper Hill Road, Londonderry, New Hampshire, part of the Hickory Woods Community Complex. My question is if you were to grant or approve this request this evening, can we make it a condition that the buffer zone against the property line of Hickory Woods, as their plans are shown, are not touched, not altered, no trees cut, and the buffer zone remains as it is?
Okay, well, we don't know if we're going to approve or deny because there's a process in which we have to do that. So for the record, we'll put that you would like that request.
I'm requesting if that's the way to do
you.
it.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak in opposition? Okay, let the record show there is no one in opposition. I'm going to bring it back to the board for any other questions.
No, I don't. Well, actually, I'm going to jump the gun just a little bit and ask you to just give us a hint as to what is yet to come. Would granting with this this particular portion of the request, would you be amenable to a restriction for the existing tree buffer line not to be disturbed while putting the road in, leaving the existing tree line between the property? It looks like the road doesn't touch the actual existing tree line, but it does actually touch some of the wet area. You can see in Exhibit 10, the tree line running across between the Hickory condominiums.
I think if you could, Kristen, if you could pull up, I think it's C.
Here?
Yes. If you look at C, you can see where we're proposing the driveway. And so we make a turn outside of the 40-foot buffer, just after the Hickory Woods property line starts. If you're leaving 102, you can see there's a slight curve.
Right.
And then, so the entire driveway, private driveways are going to be outside that 40-foot. But we're going to need those driveways to get in there. So the answer to your question is, in the property line between Hickory Woods and this property, we do not have a problem stipulating we will not touch, except as shown in that very corner. And it's hard to determine, I can't really point to it, maybe Kristen can up in the corner. Yeah, there we go. If you could even enlarge that, it might be helpful.
So you're talking about the corner down by the road, correct?
No, up above, right along the property line, the mutual boundary line.
Okay.
You can see there's a tree line, and if you proceed along there, keep on
Oh, you can
going.
see all the way down here?
Yeah, right there. And I can't, these are not exact drawings, so that would be the only area where it's possible you might have to touch the trees. Like, there's a dimension there, 4161, you can see it on the screen where it's enlarged.
Yep.
Right in there, if you're putting in a roadway, there's probably going to be some impact on trees. We don't plan to cut them, but right in there. Other than that area, we agree we do not intend to, and it could be a condition of approval that if these 3 homes are allowed, that no trees along that boundary are to be cut, except in that very little area. That's correct?
Yeah, correct. And that's only really to keep the entryway and the driveway as far away from the wetlands as possible.
Yeah, I can see that it's like right on the edge there, but,
So
it does.
planning and building
Yeah, I know.
will dictate that.
Yeah,
But they will, I will.
But as to the rest of it, if you put that
The
condition
spirit and
on,
intent is to keep, I mean, there's a number of tall hardwood trees there. There's some
We-
low brush
we
in front of
agree
it. They're
not to
5,
touch
10
them.
feet deep before you get to the hardwood trees.
Yeah.
The
We agree not
intention
to.
is to
and I think that'll come up in the second
Right, and-
variance request, but that's a little foreshadowing, but if you
Right,
wanted to
that-
put
That's why I
a,
asked to foreshadow.
if you
this
want to
as
put a
part of the
condition on
question,
the
so
3 homes,
We'll figure it out.
we're all
when we
right
get to
with
the
that,
next one.
too.
Thank you. I just want to get a little foreshadowing there
Yep,
before I
thank you.
voted on this one.
Any other concerns or questions?
No.
Andrew, you all set?
I'm all set, thank you.
Okay, I have none. I'm gonna take it back out to the public one last time. Anyone would like to speak in favor of the applicant? Anyone in opposition? Okay. Let the record show, we have no more, response from the public. At this time, the public portion of this hearing will be closed, and we will go into deliberations. Wait a minute, let me open up the record. Can I have that letter? Because we have to read it into the record.
Chet, this from Chet.
You comfortable reading that into the record?
Yes, I can read it.
Okay.
Okay. Members of the zoning board, I have been asked to submit my analysis with regard to the above captioned property of a variance request to allow a residential development consisting of 3 single-family homes in the commercial C-2 zone in Route 102 Corridor Performance Overlay District where such use is not permitted. I previously performed an analysis of the variance request to allow up to 6 duplexes and offered an opinion dated August 28th, 2025. The site and abutting sites were inspected and photographed on August 22nd, 2025. I have reviewed and analyzed the variance application corresponding zoning ordinance and proposed site plan. Subject tax map parcel 2-25 is an irregular shaped lot with 15.07 acres occupying 623.34 feet of frontage along the north side of the Nashua Road / NH 102 just east of Tavern Hill Road. Subject is situated in commercial C2 zone in the Route 102 Corridor Performance Overlay District and is encumbered by the 350 feet wide power line transmission easement on the east side of the lot. The west side of the lot, which is densely wooded along the entire property line, abuts the agricultural / residential AR1 district, and even a sliver of the northern side of the lot itself is situated in the AR1 zone, along with its northerly neighbor. Surrounding properties include single-family residential use to the west, wetlands to the east and north, and the Londonderry Flea Market to the south across Nashua Road. Additionally, subject property surrounds an abutter at tax map parcel 2-26, a single-family resident in the commercial C2 zone on 3 sides. The site is currently vacant. Proposed plans call for the construction of up to 3 single-family homes on 3 lots. The first, which is set back 400 plus or minus feet from Nashua Road. The site is served by municipal water, and plans call for on-site septic systems. Proposed plans are consistent with minimum requirements for land area, frontage, and available utilities for housing of this size and scope according to Londonderry's zoning ordinance. But use of the residential development is not an allowed use in this zone. However, duplexes classified as workforce housing are allowed in the zone with a conditional use permit. I opine that allowing this lot for single-family use, where water is available and septic systems are possible, and where there are residential uses adjacent to the subject property and a substantial tree line buffer on the west side, does not alter the character of the neighborhood and will not detract from the aesthetics of the area. No abutters will notice any difference. Additionally, it is noted that the allowed commercial uses for this site would not be more intense and less harmonious uses not in character with the neighborhood. In my opinion, granting the variance requested to allow a residential development consisting of up to 3 single-family homes in the commercial C2 zone in the Route 102 Corridor Performance Overlay District, where such use is not permitted, will not adversely affect the real estate values of the butters or the neighborhood in general. Very truly yours, Chet Rogers.
Thank you. Now, the public portion of this meeting, hearing is now closed. Do we have to hash out anything? Do you have any questions? Do you have any concerns? You ready to go into the 5 points of law?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I was trying to look up when the 102 overlay district came into being, and I can't tell for sure, but it's not specific in here. It says new section 8. I don't know if this is it, but it looks like it was around 2002,
Okay.
just for point of information.
2006.
2006? Okay, maybe it was.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
I'll keep looking.
2004 for the 102 overlay district, but
Well,
take a look at the,
Okay.
let's just.
It was before 2005.
let's see. So the first performance overlay district was done in 2001, which is ordinance 1-11.
Okay, so 2001.
Okay, but which established a performance overlay district, but then was updated in 2003, 2004 when you had the additional enactments for setbacks, all of that stuff.
Okay,
So,
okay.
yeah, it's ordinance number 2004-01, proposed purpose of the 102 performance overlay district. One is blah, 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 blah.
So I apologize, I'm correct, looks like it's 2004, according to what you just read. This
The
was
property
purchased,
bought in 2003.
2003 is the
Three.
deed.
Okay.
So You said it was Article 0401?
So that was the original, of course, I just deleted it off of my thing there, so hang on a second, let me get back to it. So the original for performance overlay, for having performance overlays at different areas of the town was in 2001. The, according to what it looks like here, the ordinance for the proposed 102, the Route 102 Performance Overlay District was ordinance number 2004-01.
Okay, all right, good. I just wanted that clarified.
Yeah. So I want to make sure too, so.
Okay.
And I think one of the other points is that the restriction on the buffer, which, again, it doesn't come into play particularly in this one, but since we're talking about it, the buffer was enacted at a later, requirement of a buffer to an AR zone was enacted later. I think it was 2016, maybe.
Yeah.
And-
that's,
and
ordinance,
the AR zone-
04-16. Yeah.
And then the AR zone was enacted about that time itself. That is, the zoning was changed for that property. So it was all well after, I guess that was my point. It was well after purchase.
I'd like it for the record.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right, and we'll read into,
Wait, want me to go
yep,
first
go
one?
ahead,
Okay.
yep.
Granting the variance would or would not be contrary to the public interest because
Just like, one of us to read off
So
what,
what we do is, you will state, and especially because there's only three of us, state whether you believe the variance will not be contrary, or if it is, you have to give your reason why. You are responding that way.
so, well, I guess I'll take a shot at the first one then. Granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest because there is no diminution of the surrounding property if it's within the area of additional single-family homes or condominiums. And would not alter the character of the neighborhood.
Okay, and I agree. Andrea, how do you vote?
I agree.
Okay.
Okay, so do you want me to just go down the line?
She'll-
Yeah, let me,
She'll,
Okay, yep.
she'll end up, she'll put the response.
sorry.
No, the longest part is the writing. Because we can't type and,
This is why we used to hear all the cases, then do them later on in the evening, and we had someone recording them, would transcribe them later on. The following month. The good old days.
Would not diminish value of property in the residential area, and did I get, there was a third point?
and the will not alter the character of the neighborhood. I was gonna print it,
Because
yeah,
we've
I was
been
gonna print
using-
it for you if you
Yeah.
wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's handy to have.
I mean, just for now, so then we can actually just give that to her, and she can,
Got it.
Oh, that'd be great, thank you.
that'll be more along the lines of.
Okay, something, thank you.
Just gonna
Ready
make that big enough
for
now
number
for.
two?
We're ready for number 2.
The spirit of the ordinance would or would not be observed because,
I say that the spirit of the ordinance is observed because there is no altering of the essential character of the neighborhood on that side of the street, and it does not threaten the public health, safety, or welfare.
I agree.
Okay,
I agree.
there we go.
Printing this so I can read it. do number 3 then. Substantial justice is done by granting of the variance. As the applicant proved that, did not approve the variance, the, any loss to the individual is outweighed by the gain of the public would be an injustice, in that they really don't have much use, or the property has very little usable applications beyond what the applicant has applied for.
I agree.
I agree.
I can do the next one too, since I asked the question.
Okay. All right, you don't,
The values of surrounding properties are not diminished. The applicant had proved that by submitting the appraiser, the opinion of a professional appraiser, that the property value would not be decreased.
I agree.
I agree. Okay.
And the last one, literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance would result in an unnecessary hardship. In this instance, literal enforcement with the district overlay would render the property substantially unusable.
And I want to add to that, I agree with that, but we also have its unusual shape.
Characteristics.
It's a very unique parcel as compared to most parcels in Londonderry or other parcels. It also has wetlands that restrict it. It also has the power lines. Do we, wait a minute, do we have power lines on this side? No, it's on the other
No,
side?
it's on the, it's.
It's on
yeah.
the other side.
So,
But, well, actually, the power lines run through the entire
Yeah, that's
frontage of the
true.
lot, so I mean, that takes up
That takes up
at
as well.
least more than half of the lot is
Yeah.
taken up by power
The
lines.
power lines, yeah.
So that's certainly an impact. And it's not unreasonable to,
So due to those special conditions of this property.
I agree.
Okay.
okay, and we have a place
Is
for,
the proposed use a reasonable one? I agree it is.
I agree.
Single-family homes.
I agree.
There we go, so,
Now, do we have any conditions or comments in which to record for
I
this?
have a proposal for condition based on, I would have you consider, as a condition of granting this variance, the natural tree line along the abutting properties shall be preserved to the maximum practical extent. Any disturbances shall be limited to what is necessary for approved construction, and all areas not retained will be replanted or remediated in accordance with the landscaping plan approved by the planning board. And I have that written down
And you
here.
know what?
Okay.
She gets flowers.
Yes,
If she
and-
gets all that
I'm gonna-
written in the
And I'm
first
gonna,
shot.
I'm gonna give it to you, I'm
Okay.
gonna give it on my phone here, so. if you think-
I'm okay, I agree with
Yeah,
that comment.
I agree as well.
I think that makes.
And condition. But,
You got it written down? Here,
Yeah.
you know what, I'll take a picture of it. Thank you. All right. Okay,
it's all written?
I will write it down.
Morgan, if there's anything that- Oh, no.
Nope.
Okay, great.
It's gonna take me.
You take as much time as you need.
Okay, thank you
All
for your
right,
patience.
thank you. You've been on boards before, so you know how to make a motion? You know how to
Yes, but is there a specific?
properly,
action
properly state the motion? Have you done that before?
I've done it many times. but
Okay,
I'm
I
not
just wanna
what-
make
yeah,
sure.
But, so in this case,
So,
what is the format for this board though now?
so I'm gonna ask for a motion,
Yeah.
then I'm gonna ask for a second.
Yeah.
And then whatever that determines, then you
Oh,
read,
okay.
you read the outcome and you state the case number again for the record. And you read it into the record one more time,
Okay,
okay?
okay.
So, do I have a motion for case number 2025-2?
I make a motion that we grant the variance for case number 2025-2, variance for the request of the, from the Londonderry zoning ordinance, section 4.6.6.5 of the Route 102 Performance Overlay District to allow the use of the parcel located at 296 Nashville Road in the Commercial 2 C2 zoning district, tax map 10002, lot number 25-0, Vigent Family Properties LLC, the owner, Leonard Vigent applicant. The case continued from December 17th, 2025 and January 21st,
And it's,
2026.
and it's for what? Because this is the important part. For what?
For the construction of, what is yours different than mine? Let's get that. For the construction of 3 single-family residences.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. So for case number 1217, 2025-2, request for variance from LZO section 4.6.5, 4.6.6.5. The variance has been granted.
Thank you.
And I need to sign that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's a little messy.
It's for the record. We're good. All right, there you go. And have all that you marked put in the packet, the exhibits. And for your next case, sir, you're gonna be using the same exhibits as we did for one?
Yes, I was going to ask they
Okay,
be called
So I'm
forward.
I will use my packet that I received, and we'll put that into the case for the second one, okay?
Yes.
Is it the same letter too?
We'll have to see.
So I'm just gonna have my- real quick.
Is that the number 2?
Number 2 is right here.
No, this is just a meeting
Yeah, here
file.
we go.
All right, we're ready for our second case.
Case number 12-17-2025-3, request for variance from the Londonderry zoning ordinance section 4.6.6.7. Capital D, .4, capital D, .I of the Route 102 Performance Overlay District to allow encroachment of the 75-foot buffer for proposed single-family housing development. The parcel lot is at 296 Nashville Road in the Commercial 2 C2 zoning district, tax map 002, lot 25-0, Vigent Family Properties LLC owner, Leonard Vigent applicant. Case continued from December 17th, 2025, and January 21st, 2026.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the board, for the record, my name is Morgan Hollis. I'm an attorney at Gottesman and Hollis Professional Association, 39 East Pearl Street in Nashua. And I'm here representing the applicant and the owner of the property, Vigent Family. And with me this evening, as I stated before, are the two principals, Jane and Leonard Vigent. Also with me is Dan Borowski of Fieldstone, and he is here to answer questions with regard to support. So I guess I would first ask the chair if maybe to shorten the proceedings, we just agree to pull forward the exhibits from the last application.
I will, yep.
And then I don't have to run through each of them and describe them all over again.
Nope. So we have Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C, Exhibit D, that is pages 1 through 13, will be entered into the record.
Thank you. And I have only one other exhibit that, because we're dealing with the encroachment and the restrictive buffer, I think the plan, I probably should have entered it in the last case, but I have the boundary plan, which was dated in 1986 of the property. And on that plan, it actually references the subdivision plan as 1980. I read it and I thought it said 86, but better eyes than mine have shown that it's 80. So I'd introduce that into record. It's a plan recorded in the Registry of Deeds. Again, just for the limited purpose of showing that this lot was created. It's not two lots together, then it was subdivided when my client bought it, therefore imposing his own hardship. This was subdivided long before that regulations came into effect. So I'm going to read as you've requested, and I may have a few minor comments to the criteria, but I'll just move forward. And that'll be marked as E, I guess?
It is E, yep.
The granting of the variance, as read into the record, I would just introduce it again. We're asking for relief because there is a 75-foot buffer from the, whenever, under the POD zone, if it abuts an AR1 zone, there is a required 75-foot non-disturbance buffer, not non-building, but non-disturbance buffer. And This property abuts the AR1 zone, which is the condominium association next door. The purpose of the Performance Overlay District and the purpose of the 75-foot buffer is to protect commercial uses impacting residential uses that are zoned AR1. Unfortunately, the ordinance does not distinguish between whatever use you might choose to make on the C2 POD Route 102 Overlay District. So whether you're using a commercial use or you're using something else and you get it by variance, which we just received, you still must obey that 75-foot non-disturbance buffer. And because of that ordinance restriction, we are here asking for relief. We're asking for relief per the plan presented, which has a variable encroachment. The closest that we will come to the boundary line will be about 16 feet. 13 feet, I'm sorry, 13 feet, and that's up nearest the road. And otherwise, it will be outside the normal setback of 40 feet, all as represented by Exhibit C is probably the best exhibit to show it on. So that's what we're asking for. We're proposing to stay away from the tree line. We hope, as I testified to in the first case, is the applicant's desire to not disturb that tree line, but clearly there's going to be an area where, as you're digging for a proposed driveway going to these homes, 13 feet away from the boundary line, you might disturb some roots, and there might be some impact in the very corner of the property. So we're trying to stay as far away as possible. We have impacts within the 75 feet, as shown on the plan, of this private driveway, and we also have impacts of a underground septic system, as shown on Exhibit C. Could you call up Exhibit C so everybody can just see what we're referring to? Yeah, I
I
think
think that's in the other set of plans.
yeah, better plan than the prior exhibit, but I think that works. We can just,
So at its greatest entry into the 75-foot buffer zone would be
Yep.
62 feet.
62 feet in.
Into that 75.
Yes.
And the furthest away from the 75-foot buffer would be 30 feet, approximately.
Approximately. yeah.
Okay.
And
Just so we have that for the record.
the proposed impact is for the driveway, which the planning board would require, whatever
Correct.
that is.
Yes.
And a small septic, as shown on this plan in orange, at the very end of the proposed driveway. So you can see there's some slight encroachment, not as much as the driveway, but it does encroach. So that's what we're asking for.
Yeah,
and
and we
we-
will use Exhibit C because that does,
Exhibit C is the best.
C is the best.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So, going to the criteria. Number one, granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest because the Supreme Court has held that a variance is contrary to the public interest when it materially alters the character of the neighborhood or threatens public health, safety, or welfare. We believe granting this variance will not alter the character of the neighborhood. The proposal is to allow for the common driveway serving 3 single-family residential dwellings and 1 leach field to encroach into the 75-foot landscape buffer required for Performance Overlay District properties which abut AR-1 properties. The Performance Overlay District requirements and the underlying C2 requirements are imposed to protect residential uses in the AR-1 district from those uses allowed in the C2 and Performance Overlay Route 102 corridor districts, which are primarily commercial in nature and which uses would have an impact on residential uses. The proposed residential use will not have such impacts, and allowing the proposed encroachment, which largely consists of a common driveway being located roughly 40 feet from the property line, will not alter the character of the neighborhood. The proposed variance will also not threaten public health, safety, or welfare, nor will it otherwise injure public or private rights, as there is adequate and appropriate area for septic and public water supply. The proposed housing development on Lot 2-25 will maintain the required 75-foot buffer for the proposed dwellings. The encroachment will be limited to the common driveway and one septic system to be located mostly in the already cleared portion of the lot. The subject parcel abuts the densely settled Hickory Woods condominium development near the developable portion of the lot. The proposed driveway and septic system area is adjacent to and approximately 75 feet from the community tennis court and basketball court for the Hickory Woods. These amenities are unlikely to be affected by the proposed development and buffer encroachment. Number 2, the spirit of the ordinance is observed because the criteria as to observing the spirit of the ordinance is tied to criteria 1. The abutting lot 2-27 was originally zoned C2. However, in 2019, the zoning of the lot changed from C2 to AR1. While the development we are proposing is located in the C2 zone, the proposed lot is residential and is similar to the uses on surrounding properties. The purpose of the 50-foot buffer in the C2 district is specifically addressed in section 4.3.3.8, parentheses, B, parentheses 2, B, where it states it is in place to diminish the deleterious effects of the commercial activities when they abut a residential zone. The 75-foot buffer in the performance overlay district is specifically addressed in section 4.6.6.7.D.1, where it states the landscape standards are a supplement area where landscaping is required in the district to promote the aesthetically pleasing type of development desired by the community, and applies to the permitted uses in the performance overlay district, primarily commercial in nature. There is no commercial activity proposed with this development. The proposed residential use is less intense and less impactful to the adjacent residential use than a commercial development would be. Therefore, we believe impacting the buffer in the minor nature that is proposed and retaining as much of the existing vegetation buffer as possible, while still providing for safe access to the proposed development, will protect the values of the abutting properties and thus observe the spirit of the ordinance. Since this proposal will provide new housing opportunities without negative impacts to the town or abutting properties, it will maintain the single-family residential character of the neighborhood, we believe it follows the spirit of the ordinance. I don't have anything to add to that either. Number 3, granting the variance would do substantial justice because granting this variance would allow for the productive use of a large existing 15-acre lot and provide additional needed housing. Granting this variance would do substantial justice because it would allow for responsible growth in the community without negative impacts to the town or the abutters. Granting the variance allowing the driveway in Leachfield to be closer than 75 feet to another residential development will not harm the public, nor would it harm the abutters. The denial of the variance request would result in no apparent gain to the general public. Hickory Woods condominium amenities, specifically tennis and basketball courts, are the most affected parties with the buffer encroachment. We believe granting the variance and allowing the proposed development will leave the abutters unaffected and allow the property owner reasonable use of the land. A single-family residential development consisting of 3 homes would be much less impactful than any of the other allowed uses in the Performance Overlay District, and we believe that the current proposal is a reasonable use of that land. Number 4, granting the variance would not diminish the values of surrounding properties because the proposed single-family development will not detract from the existing residential uses of abutting properties, and the requested buffer relief will not expose the abutting properties to any noxious or deleterious use. Only the roadway and an underground septic system. New construction and the development for residential use of the property will not decrease the value of surrounding properties. We would expect this property to have positive impacts on the surrounding property values. There is a letter which has been submitted. You're going to be reading that into the record, so I won't make you read it twice. I'll just refer to it as an opinion that it will have no adverse effect on values of surrounding properties. Number 5 is unnecessary hardship. Owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, explain how no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to this property. While the property is a large 15-acre lot and has over 600 feet of frontage, much of that land is encumbered by a power line easement or by wetlands and wetland buffers with direct access limited. In addition, the wetland is a specifically designated prime wetland, the Lithia Springs, which has a 100-foot buffer. This particular parcel is abutted by a single-family residential use to the west, the Londonderry Flea Market across Route 102 to the south, and mainly wetlands to the east and north. The frontage is narrow, and the only access to the limited developable area must be through the buffer. The zoning map reflects the uniqueness of this parcel, the general public purpose of the buffer provision in section 4.6.6.7.d, .4, .d.1, and for that matter, section 4.3.3.b.2 is to shield residential districts from commercial activities and uses that are allowed in the commercial district and the Route 102 corridor performance overlay district. The proposed use is single-family residential. Requiring such a large buffer between the two residential uses bears no fair and substantial relationship to the purpose of the ordinance. The proposed development on this property is harmonious with the residential uses abutting the property. An adequate building setback of 75 feet will be maintained, providing suitable building separation between the proposed residential development and the abutting lots. Only the proposed common driveway and one leach field will encroach into the 75-foot buffer. Allowing release from the buffer requirement does not unduly frustrate the purpose of the zoning ordinance. We believe the general public purpose of the ordinance provision is to protect residential zones from commercial uses except allowed for in the C2 zone or performance overlay district. However, that is not applicable in this specific case as a residential use is proposed on Lot 2-25. B, the proposed use is a reasonable one because we believe that the proposed buffer relief is reasonable. It is only required because this property is zoned commercial and is in the Route 102 corridor performance overlay district and abuts the AR zone. Without relief, there is no access to the viable usable land. Without relief, because of the proposed residential use on the property as well as the unique features noted above, we believe this proposed use for driveway and septic as proposed by the variance is reasonable and warranted. Or, B, owing to the following special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, explain how the property cannot be reasonably used in strict conformance with the ordinance, and a variance is therefore necessary to enable a reasonable use of the property. There are several factors that make this commercially zoned property unique and well-suited for a small single-family development. It abuts a large single-family residential development, an AR1 residential zoning district, and it contains wetlands and a large easement which preclude it from being used for commercial development. Any development on this site must be situated near the western lot line and the abutting single-family residences. The wetland areas dictate where this lot can be developed. If not for the natural site constraints, there would not be a need for buffer relief. Without the variance, the owner of this lot will not have any reasonable use. Enforcement of the 75-foot buffer leaves little area of development, regardless of the type of use, and no access thereto. Buffer relief is necessary to access the lot. By area, Lot 2-25 is much larger than the required size for the C2 zone. However, the wetland areas and power line easement and the 75-foot buffer largely impede it from being conventionally developed for permitted uses in the district or any other use for that matter, so a variance is therefore necessary. I think the focus is, the hardship is because of the uniqueness of the property, and there is no fair and substantial relationship because the purpose of the ordinance is to protect residents from commercial use. We're proposing a commercial use, and without relief, there is no ability to use this property whatsoever. We think the proposed use for a driveway for single-family homes and for one limited leach field is a reasonable use. Thank you.
Any board members have any questions?
Just quickly, would you have any objection to a similar restriction as I had requested for the previous variance on maintaining the buffer zone?
No objection.
Spirit of intent. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, I'm going to open it up to the public. Anyone that would like to speak in favor of the applicant? Let the record show no one. Anyone in opposition that would like to speak? Let the record show no one. I'll bring it back to the board one more time. And I just want to be clear, so that we are talking the same talk. it'll be no greater, because I'm going by your Exhibit C, no greater than 62 feet into the 75-foot setback, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. I'm good. I'm gonna close the public portion
Do
of
you-
the hearing.
Do you want to
Yes.
read into the record the letter?
Oh, yeah, give me, and this is how we do that one, when we have the same letter.
Oh, okay.
This is similar but different.
Just the appraisal.
It's a letter in here as well.
I did not look for the letter. Should be there.
Letter of record for this case is from J. Chet Rogers LLC, dated December 16th, 2025. This letter is the same letter as was read and submitted.
There is a different letter.
There's a different
It
letter.
is a little different.
Oh, that's the other,
There was one letter for the
that's
first.
the Fieldstone one, correct?
No, there's another separate
Oh.
appraisal letter.
Morgan
I
Hollis.
have it here.
Okay.
It's just on this variance alone.
It's part of the.
It's page 11 of the,
Yeah.
the submittal. If you want to get to that.
Yeah, that's an old one. There's a letter of December 16. Two letters came in at the same time.
All right, so December 16th is a different one than the one that you read?
Yes. I have one, and I'm happy to introduce it in for the record.
That one was August 28th, the one that's in the packet here.
Yeah, I don't think
The
I
one
have that.
There is the one I read, which is from.
For the last case, can I just see that one? Sure. Yeah. Because if it's not identical, then we,
Should be like right up front.
yeah, I see it.
Okay.
It was mailed directly like the other one, December 16.
Okay.
Okay, it's different. All right, here we go.
Okay. Want me to read?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, this is dated December 16th, 2025. Dear members of the zoning board of adjustment, I have asked to submit my analysis with regard to the above captioned property of variance request to allow the encroachment into the buffer to the AR1 zoning district for housing development in the Performance Overlay District Route 102 corridor. I previously performed an analysis of the variance request relating to the encroachment of the buffer zone and offered an opinion dated August 28th, 2025. The site and abutting sites are inspected and photographed on August 22nd, 2025. I have reviewed and analyzed the variance application, corresponding zoning ordinance, and proposed site plan. Subject tax map parcel 2-25 is an irregular shaped lot with 15.07 acres occupying 623.34 feet of the frontage along the north side of Nashua Road, New Hampshire 102, Route 102, just east of Tavern Hill Road. Subject is situated in the commercial C2 zone in the Route 102 Corridor Performance Overlay District and is encumbered by a 350 feet wide power line transmission easement on the east side of the lot. The west side of the lot, which is densely wooded along the entire property line, abuts the agricultural residential AR1 district, and even a slither of the northern side of the lot itself is situated in the AR1 zone along with its northerly neighbor. Surrounding properties include single-family residential use to the west, wetlands to the east and north, and the Londonderry Flea Market to the south across Nashua Road. Additionally, subject property surrounds a butter at tax map parcel 2-26, a single-family residence in the commercial 2 zone on 3 sides. The site is currently vacant. Proposed plans call for construction of 3 single-family homes to be serviced by a road and driveways. The site is served by municipal water and plans call for on-site septic systems. The question of use as single-family homes is the subject of this separate variance request and is not addressed herein. While the proposed single-family homes met the 30-foot wide setback from the property line abutting the Hickory Woods condominium complex to the west. Subject plans as proposed do not meet the requirement of the Route 102 Performance Overlay District for the 75-foot buffer when buildings or driveways are located within 200 feet of the residential zone. It is noted that the area which directly abuts the zone is Hickory Woods community amenities such as putting green and tennis, basketball, and bocce courts, and the single-family residence at 8 Church Lane as depicted in the illustration below. I opine that allowing this buffer impact where there are residential uses adjacent to the subject property and substantial tree-line buffer along the west side does not alter the character of the neighborhood and will not detract from the aesthetic of the area, nor will it adversely affect the neighboring condo association amenities. The purpose of the buffer is to protect residential properties from any potential harmful effects of commercial activities. Where subject plans as proposed for a residential use, buffer relief only appears to be necessary because the subject is situated in the C2 zone. In my opinion, granting the variance requested to allow the encroachment into the 75-foot buffer for a road and driveway will not adversely affect the real estate values of the abutters or the neighborhood in general.
And that is from, for the record?
Chet Rogers, sorry, very truly yours, Chet Rogers.
Great. Okay, public portion is now closed. Do we have anything that, we have questions on, or are we okay to go into 5 points of law?
I'm all set.
Okay.
Everybody?
Yep.
Granted
Start
the
again?
Granted the variance would or would not be contrary to the public interest because applicant must prove that granted the variance would not alter the character of the neighborhood. So,
So I say it is not contrary to the public interest because there is no threat to the public safety, health, or welfare, or it will not alter the character of the neighborhood where this property is located. Do you agree?
I agree. It's surrounded by other residences, so I agree.
sorry, and can you just read?
So it does not alter
It does not.
the essential character of the neighborhood,
That's the last part, right?
and it does not threaten the public health, safety, or welfare. Perfect. And for the record, do you agree?
I do.
Okay.
The spirit of the ordinance would or would not be observed because
I say the spirit of the ordinance would be observed because it does not alter the essential character of the neighborhood. It does not threaten public health, safety, or welfare. Does anyone else agree?
I agree.
Okay.
granting the variance would or would not do substantial justice. Because
I'll go ahead and
substantial justice.
take a shot at that one. So, I say that it would be, granting the variance would, substantial justice would be done because the applicant's loss would be greater than any public gain.
Perfect. I agree.
Okay.
I agree. Okay. For the following reasons, the values of the surrounding properties would or would not be diminished.
I say would not be diminished.
No.
I
For
agree.
the reasons that we have a real estate
Appraisal.
appraisal as supplied by the applicant.
Owing to the special conditions of the property that distinguish it from the properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in an unnecessary hardship. First one, there is a fair and substantial relationship of general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of the provision to the property because it's not.
There's a property in town that has special conditions. This certainly seems to be one of them. So I also, saying that it would impose an unnecessary hardship on the owner, because denial would, in essence, condemn the property to very little or if any other use, and that the proposed use is a reasonable one, and that the property itself is so unique in that it has unique buffer zones, the overlay district, the minimum access to the to a right-of-way.
It has the power lines. It can't put the driveway, it has no other access in which to come in to that property. Because of the wetlands, because of the power lines, everything has to come in the other way. So it's a unique property by all standards. For all those reasons. So the question, as it's stated on our form, no, on our questionnaire, just so that we answer it properly for the record. I can take the first one, yeah, because it's the same. So the way the question reads for number 5, owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship because there is or is not a fair and substantial justice. So that's what we have to answer. Is there or is there not a fair and substantial relationship between the general purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property, and why? So, is there a fair or is there not a fair substantial relationship? That's what we have to answer.
Is not because of the uniqueness. of the
Uniqueness, correct. So it's like a double negative, right? Okay. So the answer is there is not. I agree. You agree?
I agree.
Okay, for the record, we all agree.
Yep.
Perfect.
Do you want to go to the second one?
Yep.
Okay. The proposed use, is not, or is not a reasonable one because the proposed use is a reasonable.
Driveways are reasonable. You have to get in.
Yep.
Do we agree?
I agree.
Okay.
Okay,
Do we have any comments, conditions at this time?
I have a proposed condition to consider.
Is it the same
It
as?
is the exact
okay.
same as
Exact
my
same?
previous.
Okay.
Exact same one?
okay.
Okay.
I'll just copy that one.
Did you photo it?
Oh, I did, yes.
Yeah.
sorry.
I was gonna say, because it might be easier than
Nope, you're right.
reading
You've
this
been reading
one.
my chicken scratch, yeah.
Now, for the record, for the first case, we did not read the comments or conditions, did we, into the record?
I read it as the, a motion.
You
So-
read, no, did you read the conditions in the motion,
What conditions are you referring to?
for the first case?
The-
Did we actually read it into the record?
I read it out loud. in-
I think so. yeah.
Okay, good. I just
have
want to
my-
make sure.
The condition followed the 5 points of law
5 points, right,
discussion,
right.
so
All right, all right, we'll get through this one.
I mean, if you want to repeat it just to be absolutely clear.
Absolutely, yeah, that's what we're gonna do for the record.
Want me to reread it?
It's a formality. Is it two Gs or one?
It's actually two Gs, but it's Gregory, Gregory.
But you do G-R-E-G-G?
I do my
Okay.
whole name. No, I don't do GG. It's Gregory.
Okay.
Yeah. They abbreviate it up on the podium there, but it's Gregory Carson. So while she's writing, you want me to just read the, no, okay.
No.
And I'm all set to make the motion too then, so.
Yeah,
I think
good.
Now that I know what you were looking for.
Yep. Actually, give me yours. A copy of that condition so I can write it. All right, so, when we make this motion, we do the same protocol, and at the end, you have to put the conditions, you have to actually read those into the record at the end, okay? So, do I have a motion for case number 12-17-2025-3?
Yes, Madam Chair, I propose that we approve a variance of the 102 overlay district to allow encroachment into the 75-foot buffer for the proposed 3-unit, single-family housing development as presented.
Do we have any conditions on this one besides the natural tree line along abutting properties shall be preserved to the minimal extent practicable? Any disturbance shall be limited in what is necessary for approved construction and all acres,
You want me to
all
read it?
areas not retained shall be replanted or remediated in accordance with landscape plan review and an approval of the planning board. But I would also like to add to this one that the encroachment shall be no greater than 62 feet into the 75-foot setback.
No greater than 75 feet into the setback. right?
Shall be no greater than 62 feet, yeah, into the 75-foot setback. All right, so I will call for, let's, motion, Greg, you made the first motion. Andrea, you did the second.
Yeah.
And, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and you'll read it into the record, the whole, with the conditions.
Okay. Case number 12-17-2025-3, request for a variance from the Londonderry zoning ordinance, section 4.6.6.7.d.4.d.I of the Route 102 Performance Overlay District to allow the encroachment into the 75-foot buffer for proposed single-family housing development. The parcel located at 296 Nashville Road in Commercial 2 C2 zoning district, tax map 002, lot 25-0, Vigent Family Properties LLC owner, Leonard Vigent applicant. Case continued from December 17th, 2025 and January 21st, 2026, with the following conditions. As a condition of granting the variance, the natural tree line along the abutting properties shall be preserved to the maximum extent practicable. Any disturbance shall be limited to what is necessary for approved construction, and all areas not retained shall be replanted or remediated in accordance with the landscaping plan reviewed and approved by the planning board. And 2, that there should be no encroachment beyond
62.
62 feet into the 75-foot buffer zone.
Motion has been granted.
Thank you very much, and
Good
thank you
evening.
for your time. Appreciate it.
Madam Chair, did you want to reread the first case?
Yeah.
The whole thing? Okay.
Which packet? You don't need the picture.
Seems to be a lot of extra stuff.
Have to.
Oh, yeah, I don't need my copy.
I have them for the files.
Morgan, I think you were like, it was your first case here, and I was probably like my third month on the zoning board. That was a while ago.
It's nice of you.
Yeah, well, I've been I've been the director of HUD for Northern New England for 20 some odd years, so natural fit coming back. Sharon's Senate President right now, so she knows Dave, obviously, and stuff like that, so, yeah. Yeah. Glad to see you again.
Thank you, have a good night.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, that's good handwriting. Oof, you can't even read, I can't even read my own.
Oh, it's terrible, these are
It's
gonna
still
be.
You
going
wanna,
there.
do you wanna be here when we do the first one, just for the record?
I don't think I can, so.
I don't think so either. Do you wanna step down for a second?
Yeah, I will.
You got it.
This
Here's,
is number
uh,
2.
This is, yeah, number 2 we need. And then this is number 1, and this is the one,
She
I'm gonna
needs to sign
clear
that. I
that.
apologize, I wrote
That's
this.
okay, and
wrote
I'm
it
gonna
down.
read that into the record. I have to
This
read,
is number 2.
that's number 2?
That's what I,
Yeah, number 2, because
Okay.
we didn't do it right. We have an error. We're gonna correct the error right now. Okay, that one is now signed. This is for number 3, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, you have that folder.
All right, this is for the record. For case number 12-17-2025-2, request for a variance for LZO section 4.6.6.5 of the Route 102 Performance Overlay District to allow the use of the property for the construction of 3 single-family residences. The parcel is located at 296 Nashua Road in the commercial C2 zoning district map 002, lot 25-0, vacant family properties. The vote was 3 to grant the request with no against, with the following conditions: the natural tree line along the abutting property shall be preserved to the maximum extent practicable. Any disturbances shall be limited to what is necessary for approved construction, and all areas not retained shall be replanted or remediated in accordance with a landscaping plan review and approval by the planning board. Thank you. So that is for the record, because you have to read it at the end, all of the conditions, and I don't think we did the full extent.
Oh,
So, major error. All right, we are done with that. That is now done. Beautiful. Okay, we are ready for the next case to be read into the record.
that's Wilson Road.
did you get the information? Do I have the information? Who has the information?
I just want to make sure I get the right one. Okay, case number 01-21-2026-1, request for a variance from Londonderry zoning ordinance 4.2.1.3.c.1 to allow replacement of a front porch within the 40-foot setback. Parcel is located at 40 Wilson Road in the agricultural residential zone, AR1 zoning district, tax map 18, lot 28-5. Deborah A. Stewart, owner applicant. Case continued from January
You okay
21st.
with this?
Welcome. And please state your name and address for the record.
Deborah Stewart, 40 Wilson Road in Londonderry.
You may have a seat. Be comfortable. Have you ever done this before?
It was here last
Okay.
meeting.
So you can either tell us a brief description of what you're here for, or you can go into the 5 points along. We can ask you questions. It's whatever you prefer.
Okay. My contractor was supposed to be here with me this evening as well, and he's not here, so I was going to ask for a continuation.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion for continuance on case number 121-2026-1?
I move that, to continue the case.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Your case will be moved to our next meeting, and that is officially the date,
18th of March.
March 18th.
Perfect, thank you.
We'll see you then.
All right, what's up next?
Windsor.
Windsor?
Can you read that one?
Yep, next one.
Case number 02-18-2026-1, request for special exemption from the Londonderry zoning ordinance 5.15.1.a to allow 2 portable storage containers. The parcel is located at 55 Windsor Boulevard in the agricultural residential district, zoning district, AR1, tax map 003, lot 045-103, Randy and Andrea Bird, owner applicants.
And welcome.
Good evening.
And please state your name and address for the record.
Andrea Bird.
Randy Bird,
Okay, and your address?
55 Windsor Boulevard.
Okay. And have you done this before?
No.
Okay. Did you bring your application with you that you filled out?
did.
Okay. Would you like to go into the 5 points of law? Would you like to tell us about why you're here this evening
It's not
first?
5 points. It's a
I mean,
special exception.
Special exceptions. Would you like to tell us about what's going on with what you're asking for?
We're asking just for permission to have 2 storage containers for our use. Yeah, lawn equipment, et cetera.
Okay. How big are these storage containers, and are they same size?
Each one's 8 by 20,
They're both the same.
correct.
And what's in those storage units?
Lawn equipment, one holds a ATV with a plow my driveway.
Household storage.
Yeah, a little bit of household storage.
Nick, we no longer have time restraints on the storage units.
I'm sorry, what?
We don't have expiration dates on the storage units any
It's
longer.
whatever you decide.
That's correct, okay.
We also don't allow to.
All right,
Madam Chair,
yes.
I believe they're asking for a variance too, as well as a special exception
Yeah,
because.
correct.
Well, the
we
first
only
one,
allow
that's up.
First one
special
is,
exception.
yeah, the first one we have on our plate is the special exception, but then we have a variance,
Right.
To ask for the second one.
so. So the special exception for 2, but a variance for 2.
No, it's
No.
a
should have
special
been-
exception for
Should have
one.
been asking for a special exception for one and then ask for a variance for the second one.
Okay, so it's written
Incorrectly.
incorrectly on my sheet. Okay,
That is on their application too, so it's consistent.
it's consistent, okay. So on this one, when we read it into the record, that this was for a special exception to allow 2 portable storage containers, and then the next case says the same exact thing, only it's a variance for 2 portable storage containers.
It would have made more sense to have the variance first.
Well, that's why I'm trying to
Yeah.
figure this out. Did we make an error
I
in?
disagree, because I think that they are be entitled to one without a variance, and the second one would require the variance. So
Yeah, so.
not
yeah.
anticipating what our response is going to be, but assuming they meet all the criteria, they'll be allowed one. They may or may not be allowed a second one.
Right, okay, so do we have an error, the way it's posted for the special exception? No. I just want to make sure we don't have an error.
I have a
No,
Technical
okay.
question.
It's not, okay.
My technical question is, if a special exception is granted for 2,
No.
No.
You can't
You-
grant a special
you
exception for
can't
two.
for
It would have
for
to
a
be a
second.
variance.
It becomes a
Yes.
variance.
That's why I wanted to ask what it had nothing to do with asking the variance, but I didn't know if,
It's set up just the way it should be.
a
It's all good.
Okay, all
short-
right, I
yeah,
just wanted to make
shortcut
sure
was-
because
Okay.
I saw it the same way on my paperwork.
Well, I'm not looking at that, but I'm looking at your.
Okay, and I'm looking at my paperwork. All right. Any other questions for the applicant?
Well, I think to be clear, because your application, when you ask will there be more than one portable storage per property, your answer was yes, 2 total.
Yes.
Do you you understand that your first application is for a special exception, which you
Yes.
are allowed to get one. The second one requires a variance to get a second one.
Correct.
So we'll have to change your answer here
Okay.
on number 8 from yes to no. You're only asking for one on the special exception.
All right.
That makes sense to you?
Yes. Yeah.
See, so it was just a technical error.
Yeah.
So we need to clarify that right now so that we
Sure.
don't
I
have to do
understand.
this over.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so, any other questions?
Where is it going to be located? Did you bring any, I don't know if there were any photos or, I saw something that was up
I
there.
just did a sketch.
Okay.
Unfortunately, not the greatest.
Nor am I.
Do you want me to bring up the aerial as well?
Yes, please.
Let's look at that one.
55, what was it again?
Thank you very much.
So the plan is for the storage facility to be where? Where is it located?
If you drove into the driveway, it'd be off to the right. See the shed at the spur there, the driveway? To the right?
I do not, but
Yeah, it's a
present.
tough one to see, I guess. You're getting there. Coming into the driveway from the street. Turn off, yeah, now turn to the right.
Is
and
that the
off-
shed?
That's the shed. Now,
Okay.
off to the right corner of the shed, right in that area.
So it's to the side or the rear of the principal structure?
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just could just ask that.
Okay. So for number 8, do you agree that your answer is not yes to 2, but it is no? I mean, there will be one portable storage structure for the property is yes, and that 2 total is stricken from your response for number 8?
Yes.
Okay. All right, any other questions?
No.
Are these steel containers?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I have no further questions. Anyone else? Okay. I'm gonna take it out to the audience. Is there anyone that would like to speak in favor of the applicant? Let the record show no one. Is there anyone in opposition? Let the record show there is no one. Bringing it back to the board one last time before we go into it. Okay, we're good? Go ahead and read it.
Number 1, is the use detrimental to health or safety of residents?
Applicant's response was no.
So it is hard to hear you. I don't
Oh,
know when you're
okay.
taping, but I know when I was in the back, I was having trouble hearing you.
Okay, I was in here, okay. So I'm gonna relax.
I have the same problem.
Okay. Number 2, will the use create undue traffic congestion or traffic safety hazard in the vicinity of the proposed development?
The applicant has responded no.
Like we have too many wills in that sentence, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, number 3, will the use be incompatible with the surrounding neighborhood?
The applicant has responded no.
Okay, number 4, will the use be a detriment to property values in the vicinity of the proposed development with consideration given to the location or scale of buildings, structures, parking areas, or other access ways?
Applicant has responded no.
Number 5, will a nuisance be created by such use by way of emission of odors, smoke, gas, dust, noise, glare, heat, vibration, or other pollutants, or the unsightly the unsightly outdoor storage of equipment, vehicles, or other materials?
Applicant has responded no.
Number 6, will the use of Will the use create a hazard to public or adjacent property on account of potential fire, explosion, or release of toxic materials?
Applicant has responded no.
Number 8, will there be more than one portable storage structure per property? And that was corrected to no? Was that
I think you skipped number 7.
Okay, miss number 7.
correct? 7. Number 8, will there be more than one, no, that was number 8, sorry. Okay, number 9.
We have to do 7.
Okay. Okay, well, I skipped 7, I apologize.
Yes.
Will the use result in the degradation of existing surface and groundwater quality standards or have adverse effects on the natural functions of wetlands on the site, which would result in the loss of significant habitat or flood control protection?
Applicant has responded no. And number 8 was corrected. There will be more than one portable storage structure, your property. The answer is no.
Okay, number 9, will the portable storage structure be larger than 10 feet wide, 20 feet long, and 10 feet high?
Applicant has responded no.
Okay, number 10, will the portable storage structure be located to the side or rear of the principal structure on the property?
Applicant responded yes.
And 12, will the portable structure be set, hold on here, will the portable, we're on number 11.
11.
Yeah, will the portable structure be set back a minimum of 15 feet from any side or rear lot lines and 40 feet from any property line?
Applicant responded yes.
Number 12, will the portable structure be set back a minimum of 5 feet from the nearest wall of a building?
Applicant responded yes.
Number 13, will the portable storage structure be placed on a paved, concrete, other appropriate impervious surface, or be placed on blocks?
Applicant responded yes.
Okay. Number 14, if applicable, will adequate and appropriate facilities be provided for the intended use?
Not applicable.
And number 15, if applicable, will the necessary state and federal permits be obtained?
Not applicable.
And number 16, what is the length of time the portable storage structure will remain on the property? They answered perpetually.
Yes.
in the application.
Applicant has responded perpetually.
We have not done perpetually.
No.
Answers. I think we've been doing 10 years. Back. We can make it 15.
So historically, we've done a 10-year. Did we even, I can't remember 15 or 20. I don't recall
It's
that.
usually
I only
10.
know 10. That's the only ones I recall. So the applicant would like to have it there forever. And this is where we have to come up, if we agree with that, or if we're gonna put a time limit.
So
I'm
have
a
we done
10.
away with the special exceptions, just go concurrent with the ownership? And that's the way we had done it before, so I don't know if something has changed that. you
This is for
imposed
the
on-
portable structure, so it's,
Right, no, I
it's a
understand.
time limit, yeah.
But in this, again, I'm asking this question because I've been away from this so long. So special exceptions were granted, and they were granted for the period of ownership. So when ownership changed, the variance, it gets extinguished.
Nope,
So that's changed.
no,
Okay.
this is different when it comes to the storage units.
Okay. I'm fine with whatever.
So are you okay with 10
I'm
years?
fine with 10 years.
Andrea, are you okay with 10
Yes,
years?
I'm
Okay.
10 years.
And Suzanne, are you okay
Yep,
with 10?
okay.
Okay. So,
Might want to explain why we do that.
so for 16, you want it there inevitably forever.
As long as we're there, yeah.
As long as we're there and they're properly maintained and they're not.
So that's one of the ways that we help you. So we're gonna put a 10-year time on this,
Okay.
because in 10 years, should the structure fall apart, it will allow the town to be able to say, hey, it's falling apart in these unsafe conditions. So That's why I asked you what it was made of.
Yep,
Because obviously a woods container wouldn't last 10 years.
no.
Yeah, so that's why we asked. So we're gonna be, we all agree that we're gonna give you a 10-year. So we have to document that 10 years would be February 18th, 2036.
And if you're still here, you can just come back and ask for it to be extended, assuming that.
I won't be here, but.
Okay.
I won't be here either.
And do I have a motion for this?
I don't have the docket.
Here you go.
otherwise I'd make it. In case number 02-18-2026-1, a request for a special exception from Londonderry zoning ordinance 515-1A to allow a portable storage container. The parcel is located at 55 Windsor Boulevard in the agricultural residential AR1 zoning district map 3, lot 45103, Randy and Andrea Bird, owner and applicant. That the request for the special exception be allowed having met all the criteria.
To expire.
Oh, yes, thank you. So it will expire 10 years from today's date.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay.
And I believe I have to, do I have to sign something on that one too?
I'm sure you
Yes, you
do.
do.
I probably do.
This is the variance.
Yeah, you do, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's different.
I can fill in the rest if you want to. I
Was there
started filling
anything-
it in with the motion, but I can. complete it
I'm
after.
not seeing. Thank you. For the next one.
I changed it a little. I put
That's
the,
fine, yeah.
yeah, I
was
put the,
just Scribbling, I was.
You still need to write some more stuff on here?
no, because I put it for you.
Oh, okay, but you want to put the tax map and there's a bunch of other stuff
Property address.
too. Yeah, I guess. Finish it up.
Okay.
Moving on.
Ready for the next one?
Yeah, you go.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know you were waiting. I was looking up something on it. Case number 02-18-2026-2, request for a variance from Londonderry zoning ordinance 5.15.1.a.1 to allow 2 portable storage containers. The parcel is located at 55 Windsor Boulevard in the agricultural AR1 zoning district, tax map 003, lot 045-103, Randy and Andrea Bird, owner applicants.
Okay, please state your name and address for the record.
Andrea Bird, 55 Windsor Boulevard.
Randy Bird, 55 Windsor Boulevard.
Okay, so for this one, this is a variance. Did you bring your paperwork for the 5 points of law?
Yes.
Okay. So, you want to tell us something about the request for 2 portable storage containers, or do you want to go into the 5 points of law?
Just go to the 5 points.
5 points, okay. And you could read right from your application. And you just start with number 1, and you just read what you what you indicated for your response.
Okay, number 1, the variance will not be contrary to the public interest. The storage units are located within guidelines on our property and will not have a negative impact on neighbors. Number 2, can't see the staples. The spirit of the ordinance is observed. Use of the storage containers are only being used for personal home and yard storage. Number 3, substantial justice is done. Due to seasonal water issues on our property, these are the reasons for our request and justification. Number 4, the values of surrounding properties are not diminished. Storage units are visually pleasing, painted evergreen to blend in with surrounding landscape. And number 5, literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance would result in an unnecessary hardship. A, for purposes of this subparagraph, unnecessary hardship means that owning to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from the properties in the area. No fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purposes of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property. And the storage units are located on the rear and side of our property, placed within property guidelines, and are visually pleasing. Number 2, the proposed use is a reasonable one. Need extra storage due to seasonal water issues on our property. B, if the criteria in subparagraph A are not established, an unnecessary hardship will be deemed to exist if, and only if, owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area. The property cannot be reasonably used in strict conformance with the ordinance, and a variance is therefore necessary to enable a reasonable use of it. If granted permission to retain both storage containers, they will be properly maintained, and the surrounding area consisting of bushes and trees be planted. 19 trees have already been planted since we purchased this home in June of 2000.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant?
So can you go into the seasonal water issue, because number 5 for your hardship, you have to explain why you personally do not meet the criteria and why your property is unique and special from anyone else in your neighborhood in order for us to grant it. And your statement there doesn't get there, but I'm looking at your number 3, and perhaps that is your answer. I don't know.
I mean, we have seasonable wetlands there, the water is an issue certain times of the year, springtime.
So what happens?
The backyard in particular, not the area where the storage containers are, but the backyard. Springtime fills up with water, briefly.
So you couldn't really build anything back there.
How about where you want to put the storage facilities?
Pardon me?
How about building where you want to put the storage facilities?
Yeah, we'd prefer to have something, like this that's temporary, something that could be not a permanent structure. I'd rather not.
Okay, any other questions? No. How large is your property? What's the size?
A little under 3 acres.
So out of all the 3 acres, the whole backyard gets flooded and?
No, not the whole backyard.
Okay.
No, partial.
And for the record, what size are the storage containers going to be?
8 by 20,
Are both 8 by 20?
correct.
And what are they made of?
Steel.
You have a pool in your backyard too?
No,
No? Okay,
one time we did.
okay.
Those GIS maps, right?
Any other questions? I'm going to take it out to the audience. Anyone that would like to speak in favor of the applicant? Let the record show there is no one. Anyone in opposition that would like to speak? Let the record show no opposition. Taking it back to the board one last time for any questions before I close. Okay, I'm gonna close to the public.
Ready?
We have to hash out. Yeah.
So I'm not inclined, in my opinion, my feelings are to approve two
No.
portable storage containers on any property in town anywhere where one is allowed, but there's a reason why that, portable containers have had limits placed on them, that having one was even, required a special exception. The town has decided that long ago, and, having two and then making it, a permanent, running with the land variance, that, two portable containers, which at some time, in the next 10, 20, 30 years, those containers will no longer be serviceable, and they can put, it's the next owner and the next owner and the next owner will always be able to put portable storage units there, containers. So I can't see the value for the town or the hardship where, the storage containers are extremely expensive. Building a permanent structure would be actually less expensive, I would think, but that as the applicant had even written that he doesn't want a permanent structure there, he wants them temporary, and the whole definition of temporary is what we grant under the special exception versus granting double the special exception to make it permanent. That's the complete opposite of temporary. So, like I said, I'm not inclined to
Agreed.
to vote on
I
approval for
agree.
this.
Number 5 is the hardest
Mhm.
to push through, and it has to truly be a unique, it's a hardship, and it has to be something unique that's why they're here for the variance. Asking for more portable storage containers, because there's some wet land, but the acreage is just under 3, it's not all flooded. Yeah, I just don't think number 5 was met.
Agreed. And there is the issue with it continuing to move forward, always.
Always, it stays with the land, that's right, because it's a variance.
That's actually my biggest issue, is that
Yes.
it's permanent.
Okay.
I do have, can I ask?
I gotta
I
come
can't-
back at it.
all right, never mind.
Would you like me to open up open it up back up to the applicant? Sure. I will open it
I
back
just-
up. We have a question for you. Go
Sure.
ahead.
You have there is a container on there currently, right? Or are there two?
No,
containers?
these are the two containers that we're asking permission
Asking
for.
permission, because I did drive by, do you currently have do you have container, the green container?
Those are them.
Yeah, oh, and they're on, you have them already then?
Yes,
Okay,
yep,
yeah,
yep.
Okay,
Hmm,
so, okay,
we love that.
Are you good with your question?
I am, I'm good.
Okay, I'll close it back down. All right, we ready to go through the 5 points of law? Okay.
Ready? Granting the variance would or would not be contrary to the public and the public interest, because
I'm going to say, and you may not agree with me, that it does alter the character of the neighborhood by putting two storage facilities that size in a residential neighborhood.
I agree with that.
I do too.
You agree? Okay.
Yes.
Andrea, do you agree?
yes.
Okay.
And number 2, the spirit of the ordinance would or would not be observed because,
It would not be observed because it's altering the character of the neighborhood.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
It alters the character of the neighborhood. Does anyone else agree?
Well, that's more of a health, safety, and welfare, or the second criteria.
And health, safety, yep. And welfare. And we have to make sure that we speak into the mic if you agree or not agree.
I agree with you.
I agree.
I agree.
You agree? Okay, sorry. Number 3, granting the variance would or would not do substantial justice because.
There's greater harm to the general public.
Which is what?
Outweighed by the gain of to the applicant
And the fact that there would be 2 there going forward.
for 2 going forward. Does anyone else agree?
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Okay, number 4, for the following reasons, the values of the surrounding properties would or would not be diminished.
I would say they would, although we didn't get into it.
There was no evidence supporting that one way or the other.
Yes. But we can use our own judgment, and I think I don't want to live next to 2 storage facilities on my residential property.
I believe that would be a residential negative.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree. Number 5, owing to special conditions of the property that distinguished it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship because A, there is not a fair and substantial relationship between the general public and the purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property because.
I would say there is not an unnecessary hardship in that where the 2 containers are being placed or are already placed, that a permanent storage unit could be built there. So there's no unnecessary hardship that it has to be 2 portable containers versus, a permanent structure.
So when you're circling.
As an
in this
alternative.
case, It would be.
Is. Because that's the way that question
Yeah.
poses.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and I agree, there is. For all your reasons.
Okay.
Right, and that there was nothing specifically unique about this property that would
There
allow
was
us to
nothing-
deviate from.
There
the
was nothing
requirements.
unique compared to all other properties.
Okay. I can hear music.
And the property, the proposed use is or is not a reasonable one because.
I think the proposed use is unreasonable in that the town has saw fit to have a special exception for allowing 1 unit. And I think the spirit and intent of that is that if you have 1 unit that for temporary use, actually, yeah,
But I think
I'm gonna
2 is-
recycle that.
I think
yeah.
2 is unreasonable.
Yeah, it's unreasonable because there's a process for either having a permanent facility, a storage facility to be placed there, and that the town has actually granted a special exception process for single units.
And do we agree with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And do I have a motion?
So let me make sure I get the right one here.
2.
Yeah, number 2. So, I move that case number 2-18-2026 -2, a request for a variance to allow 2 portable storage containers be denied.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The 2 storage units have been denied. And we have one last case.
Okay.
Madam Chair, so how would they, do you give conditions for how long they have to remove the other unit, or?
I was just gonna let them work that out with Nick.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
planning board issue.
I-
I mean,
yeah.
planning and zoning office
Yeah,
issue.
that way, whatever it's gonna take, I don't know, and I don't think any one of us knows, so
I
you
don't know
would work
either.
with
You
Nick
gotta- I
on
gotta be
that.
told, so
Yeah.
you gotta let me know.
Yeah.
He will work with you on that,
All right.
okay?
Case number 0218, 2026-3, request for a variance from Londonderry zoning ordinance 4.2.1.3.c.2 to allow a deck and stairs within the side setback. The parcel is located at 22 Pleasant Drive in the agricultural residential AR1 zoning district, tax map 004, lot 003-41. Wendy Staggs, applicant, Staggs Family Trust, owner.
Good evening, and would you state your name and address for the record?
Wendy Staggs, 22 Pleasant Drive.
Michael Staggs, 22 Pleasant Drive.
Okay, and did you bring your application with you?
Yes.
Okay, and have you done this before?
Nope.
Okay, but it seems you sat here all night, so.
Yep.
You're a pro. You're probably very good at it right now, so how, it's up to you how you would like to proceed.
Short introduction, then go right into the
Okay.
points. We're looking to replace our existing deck. The deck was there when we purchased the house in 2004 and was there probably at least 10 years prior to that. The deck is deteriorating and is in need of maintenance. The overall footprint of the deck will remain the same. We're looking to move the stairs to make better and safer access to the deck in the backyard. The application to replace the deck has raised concerns with building department. It would encroach in the 15-foot setback. It was put in the application, would encroach approximately 4 feet. There's no plot plan on file, so the estimate is based looking at online maps. In discussion with the building department, the encroachment will probably be likely more like 1 or 2 feet at most. And then going into the application, the variance will not be contrary to public interest because redoing the deck and stairs improve the safety of the existing deck and allow for better access to our backyard. The spirit of the ordinance is observed. It's to ensure orderly development and properly protect property lines. Thus, replacing the existing deck and stairs allows safer deck, better egress, and it's not encroaching. Currently, I think it might be a foot into the setback already. There was a zoning variance for the house and the garage issued back in '95 to be within the 15-foot setback. The values of the surrounding properties are not diminished. The proposed deck is in the back of the house, visible from the backyard and one side. And consistent with other houses in the neighborhood, it's replacing the existing deck. It's currently over 30 years old. Literal enforcement, the deck was originally built without a permit. This will add a permitted and inspected deck on the house. Like I said, there's a current variance for the house and garage that it's going to be attached to. The deck allows us to enjoy our backyard, have better, safer access to the backyard and egress from the deck. Literal enforcement prevents us from replacing the existing deck as is. The movement of the stairs gives safer and better egress from the deck to the yard. In the overhead picture that you see, it's part of the property line. It sits, you can see how it sits in relationship to the property line. The next photo, Kristen. That's the backyard, and you can see the deck is just going to be the same size. It's not going to be any wider than the garage. And currently you come off into the gravel. If you show the next one, please. That shows the current stairs going down into the gravel, which walking on the gravel is kind of tricky. And then the next picture shows that the stairs are gonna go off where that, it's currently got a little bump out there and they're gonna just go off that side into the backyard so that that railing will basically stay there and the stairs will be to the left of that railing. And then, so the picture of the building layout, which I think is like fifth or, next, that one. So that shows the building layout as it is now, with the deck, and it's got that little bump out. So the only part we're gaining really for deck area is that little 4x4 section where the current stairs are, will be part of the deck, and the stairs will go off the back into the backyard onto the grass. So it's a safer, more stable ground than trying to walk on the gravel.
Okay. Any questions from the board members?
It's just interesting where the house was placed when you look at the GIS map. It's so far over on one side.
There's a drainage
that what it
culvert
is?
on the other side that goes under the road.
Figured there had to be a reason because it's way over there.
Yeah,
If,
22 Pleasant.
went back and looked at my notes from 1995.
Oh.
Actually, and I just have note, because I kept all these front sheets, you know, with just my notes on them. I don't, yeah,
That's
for
frightening.
whatever reason. Mostly because they're in a box in my basement, I just never threw it away. But, so, I just have one note on there, and it just says refi, which means that, I think that garage was also there, you know, added on without the benefit of a variance. When it was originally done, somebody went to refi, or if it was change of, you know, purchase or something like that. And that's when it was discovered, and then they had to come
Had
and
to get
get
a
a variance
variance.
at that point. So I don't remember anything about the deck or the individual property, but I do have a question for Nick, though. What are your thoughts on how close the deck actually is to the property line? And you think changing it changing the stairs improves, or doesn't really mitigate any of the infringing offenses?
They're not encroaching any further into the setback than it already is. They're going parallel with it. So I don't see it as a big deal.
And they already have a variance for that anyways, don't they? Is that what the old one was for?
Variance was for the garage.
For the garage itself.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't state exactly how many feet, and it's not really in the,
In the application that Nick had put down up to 4 feet, but I went out in the freezing cold weather a few weekends ago and found the marker in the woods and the marker at the top and ran a rope. And did the measuring, and I think we were about 18 inches into the.
It's 13.6.
Yeah, it's 13.6
line to the
from the line to the current deck and garage.
okay. So,
So
no
we're
more
only gonna be
than,
about
no
18.
more than 3 feet. We'll
Oh,
give
yeah.
you some wiggle
Oh.
room, just in case you're.
Yep.
Tracking through the snow.
Oh,
I don't want it
I
to,
know.
I don't want it to be too tight.
I know.
Okay, so, are you okay with, if we put, a condition that is no greater than 3 feet into the setback?
Yep.
Okay, all right. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, I do not. Let me take it out to the audience. Anyone that would like to speak in favor of the applicant? Please state your name for the record and your address.
I am Teddy O'Loughlin. My address is 24 Pleasant Drive. I'm the direct abutter next door.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
garage side?
I'm like to the garage side. I would, to the right over the gravel. And I am I'm not opposed to it as long as she keeps all the building on her land. I'm not opposed to it and have no issues with any of the building or anything. So
Okay, thank you.
just wanted to say that. And it was very much entertaining to see her in the snow. My dogs helped. Just for the record, they were very excited about her snow walk.
Hello, I'm William Dodge Jr. I live at 15 Pleasant Drive, which is directly across the street, and I have no issues or problems or concerns with this variance being accepted.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else that would like to speak in favor? Is there anyone in opposition that would like to speak? Let the record show there is no one in opposition. Bring it back to the board for one last look if we need it. We good?
All good?
Okay, we're gonna close the public portion of the hearing, and we're gonna go into deliberations. Do we have to hash anything out? Is everyone good with what I suggested for no more than 3 feet for a condition if we get through the 5 points of law?
I'm fine with that.
Okay. All right, let's try to get through the 5 points of law.
Number one, granting the variance would or would not be contrary to the public interest because.
I'd say would not.
For the reason,
It's not going to.
It's going to maintain the existing character of the neighborhood by replacing, the current non-conforming use.
so it does not alter the essential character of the neighborhood or threaten public health, safety, or welfare.
Well, now you're on number 2.
Okay. The spirit of the ordinance would or would not be observed because it would be.
Let her go. You go, new one.
It would be in that the safety would be improved by not only replacing a rotting structure, but also moving the stairs out of the driveway. So I think it would be observed. Those 2 reasons.
So would not threaten the public
not
health,
threaten, yeah.
safety, or welfare.
Yeah, I need that paper because I got to ask. It's like when I was in the legislature. You vote the opposite.
I know.
I know. I've got the.
You gotta reverse the brain.
Yeah.
That's yours too.
Okay.
That's my stomach. No, I actually.
Usually
ate-
that's me,
I
Suzanne,
actually ate too
right?
much.
Remember, it's me.
I know I missed that.
Okay, number 3, granting the variance would or would not do substantial justice. Say would.
Yes. I say it would. For the reason
Applicant's loss would be greater than any potential
gain
gain.
to the public. I agree.
I agree.
Number 4, for the following reasons, the values of the surrounding properties would or would not be diminished. Would not.
I say would not.
Agreed. I don't
Agree
think it will
too.
have any impact one way or the other.
There was no,
It's not going to decrease.
it's not gonna decrease, that's for sure.
a good sized lot. So. What am I hearing?
Last,
Watching something.
owing to special conditions of the property that distinguished it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship because there is or is not a fair and substantial relationship between the general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of the provisions to the property because
There was not a substantial relationship.
And I agree there is not.
I agree.
And for the following reasons for the record.
What did they put?
Would someone like to state that?
Excuse me. Well, due to the building of the property, such as it was placed on the lot originally, which placed it far to one side.
So the original construction.
Yes.
Pre-existing non-conforming use that was made, that was granted a
Yes.
variance.
Yes, and that it is not creating any additional encroachment to the side. It is just carrying it forward to the existing staircase.
I agree.
It's late. I'm using small words.
Okay. The proposed use is or is not a reasonable one.
Steps are reasonable, steps are reasonable to get on and
Replacement
off
of an
your
old deck
porch.
is reasonable.
We encourage those.
And then last, in the conditions, is this where you
Do
went with
three.
the conditions, which is the.
Not to exceed 3 feet into
Side.
the side setback. And do I have a motion?
I would move that case number 02-18-2026-3, a request for a variance to allow deck and stairs within a set side back that will not exceed more than 3 feet into the side setback area be approved.
And do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Last one.
It has been granted. Thanks a lot. Have a good evening.
You too. I feel like it's,
Okay, next order of business, any communication or miscellaneous that we have to address this evening?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Board members, are we good?
we are good.
Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I would
Motion
move,
to adjourn.
I would second that motion.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.